on the agenda, which is a keynote session. This is on governing for the SDG transitions, leadership lessons from the front lines of sustainable development in Kerala. And the session is going to be taken by a very senior and seasoned professional, none other than Ms. Lyra Jacob, IAS.
Respected members of the audience, dear students, and all those interested in sustainable leadership. I'm Lyra Jacob, honored, privileged to be here. I think it was Joseph Martin who decided that I should be here, and I'm very glad. It gave me an opportunity to do some bit of research, referencing, and I hope what I say will not be very, very specific and technical. Mine will be more of a general and administrative in nature, and I think that's what is expected of me. So I would like to congratulate the government of Kerala, the Startup Mission, and all those who are involved in this massive, innovative festival. And surely there will be a lot of takeaways for all of you, and I wish you all the very best. So let's start. So first we have the overview. I know that all of you are familiar with the 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals. And this was mentioned earlier, but somebody was saying that some of the people, particularly NGOs, are not really aware of what they are. Now, I will not go into what the 17 are, because they are very, very basic. Zero hunger, zero poverty, gender equality, and clean water, so many things. So I will not go into all of them. They're all very, very important. But I would invite your attention on these, which I mentioned here. The first, the SDG number 4, quality education, subject dear to my heart, because for a very long time I've been associated with the education sector in Kerala. Gender equality, SDG number 5. Industry innovation, SDG 9, which is very, very important as far as startups are concerned, because we have been hearing about how we need to care for the planet Earth, while looking at profit and also looking at economic growth. Responsible consumption and production, SDG 12, very, very important. We heard a lot about it today. Climate action, again, most important. And partnership for the goals. So why these matter? See, we know that the zero poverty, SDG 1, is very, very important. But there is so much of interconnectedness between all these 17 SDGs. So that particularly these 5, which I have mentioned here, if they are implemented to some level, we will certainly have achieved number 1, no poverty. So we need to look at the major, what are the ideas behind this? Promote inclusion, very, very important. How do you promote inclusion? No one is left behind. We don't look at the rich and the powerful. We don't look at those who matter. We look at those who really are in the margins. So we include everyone, and that is inclusion. Social equity, nobody is left behind. And this can happen because of the huge marches, the huge strides that we have been able to take in today's world. And rapid integration, this we see before our very eyes. Things are changing so fast that, it's difficult to even comprehend what they all are. And as young students and as younger people, surely you will be having a better grasp of these things. Rapid integration of AI, of the IoT, and of cloud computing, cyber physical systems. Now, these are things which were not familiar to us, but we have learned about them. So we find that these have now become almost everyday terms. And they are very important for our daily life, for improved conditions of life, I would say. And why do you need leadership today? We are in the 4th industrial revolution. The 4th industrial revolution, 401 is what we call it, 4.0, where we have moved into a new world, and industry has come to, as experiencing so much of rapid change and innovation. So we need to have sustainable solutions. Climate change is right over our heads. It is like just a reality that we have to face. We cannot forget it. We cannot hide it under the carpet. It has become so real that we find lives are depending on the vagaries of climate change. So we need to look at it openly, sharply, and with a compassion and with decision-making powers. So we need to look at the fast-changing scenario where industry has to work within a climate of change, where change is necessary and growth is sustainable. So need for sustainable solution. That is why we talk about sustainable leadership today. And why do you say it has to be sustainable? First, we have to remember that it is a matter of environmental stewardship. This is something you will hear throughout your readings or your discussions on climate change and sustainable development. So the first thing is environmental stewardship. We are not owners of what we see around us. The planet is under our stewardship, and we have to find a place for all. The second is our social responsibilities. Social responsibility so that no one is left out, no one is left behind. And economic growth. You can't have just climate care for the planet and social responsibility without ensuring that economic growth is also going alongside this. You can't expect the manufacturers, you can't expect industry to say, take care of all the people around you and forget about your profits. That just doesn't work. So we need to find the rare balance, the rare combination of factors which will bring about this holistic development where you have environmental stewardship, where you have social responsibility, and you have economic growth. So we look at a holistic leadership model. And what do we do here? We need to move beyond performance and profit loss systems. You know that our industry and whatever businesses that we have, they look at profit and loss performance. But you have to go beyond that. How is my industry, how is my business affecting the planet? How is it affecting the water sources? How is it affecting the air? How is it affecting the population around our industry, around our premises? Simple as that. For this, we require inclusive, creative, and collaborative leadership. It's very important to remember that. It has to be inclusive, it has to be creative, and collaborative. Why creative? A little while ago, we heard that we are not unable to predict what will happen. If you have this factors in front of you, what is going to happen? Nobody can say it today. You have to be creative to find new solutions. You have to find a manner in which you can use your abilities, predict things, and for that we have so many supporting factors. We have AI, we have the IoT, we have so much of, the digitization has brought out so many important changes in our way of thinking itself. So here we have to break down, and some very important, breaking down silos. Now, as a government, the bureaucrat, I can say that one of the most difficult things to handle in government is to break the departmental walls. Breaking departmental walls is something like almost impossible unless you decide that it has to be done. And I'm glad to say that in many ways I have been able to break departmental walls, at least within the departments in which I have worked and related departments. It is difficult, but it is possible. One has to convince your minister. Normally, it is the minister who has to be convinced, and the stakeholders also have to be convinced. These are important ways of getting things done, and you need to break down the silos. And the silos are not just department, it's also in your mind. We also have silos within our mind, that we will not talk to the water authority, we will not talk to the electricity, we will only talk to the industry. We will not talk to education, we will not talk to social, we will not talk to transportation. But all these are part of our lives. All these impact our society. All these impact our environment. So we need to encourage interdisciplinary teamwork. And that is something which is going to become one of the most important factors of meeting the challenges of sustainability, the challenges of climate change, and the challenges of a better life for everybody. So we need to be adaptable and flexible. And that is not something that government normally does. Adaptable and flexible. So inflexibility is supposed to be a mark of government. And that has to change. And I like to say that in Kerala, we have often been ready to make changes. Government has come forward, not just because government wanted it, but because the people also were for it. See, when you have people asking for something, you normally get government to look at us, and now we in Kerala believe that we are more democratic than most others, and we want our leaders to understand what we want and implement what we want. So many of these things get done. So we have to get leaders who are adaptable and flexible. These are the key characteristics. So these I just copied it, so you just read it quickly. Who are these leaders? They are people who are influencers. Nowadays, when you talk about influencers, you think about film stars and, I don't know, video bloggers and all. They're not, they may be influencers, but the real influencers are those who bring about change, who work for change, and who try to bring people to understand things better. Awareness. See, when somebody was speaking about, people don't know about the SDGs. The SDGs have been around for such a long time, but still we know that people don't know about it. So if you don't know about SDGs, it's high time you know. So please take your mobiles and look at the 17 SDGs and see where you fit in. See where you can make a difference. It may not be a batch. It can be a small thing. Close the taps when you leave the bathroom. Put the lights off. When you leave the office room, put them off. In the office, in our secretariat, you should see the lights that are on even till late in the night. People just don't put off the lights. I think there was a move after that light should be put off. Imagine as basic as that. So things have to change. And you have to constantly upgrade skills. The skills I learned are no longer useful, I would say. Not all of them, but at least many of them are no longer useful. Because skills have to change. And as I said earlier, we are all aware how change is going on and on and on right before our eyes. So you have to change along with that. And your change which you make has to be for the good. Not only your good, it has to be good for the rest of the society. So open to new ideas. The change in the mindset, as I said earlier, the silo concept has to go. There has to be a change in mindset. And the mindset, don't think that young people are all very, very open-minded. No. Many young people are very narrow-minded. Very, very narrow. I've talked to people, I've been amazed and saddened to hear how close their minds are. They're not willing to learn new things. They think they know many things, and that is enough. So the young have to be open-minded. Learn new things, but that doesn't mean that you absorb everything. You should be able to discriminate between what is good, what is useful, and what is downright harmful and should be just forgotten or discarded. So you should be open to new ideas. And another important thing is team-oriented. See, I have done a lot of work with government, which many people thought would never be done, but that got done, mainly because I believed in teamwork. And when you believe in teamwork, you understand the dignity of everybody, right from the sweeper and the peon to your right hand in the office. So the team building is very, very important. And no more can you have one-man shows. You can no longer say that so-and-so is very good, and then we will all do what he or she says. You need to have teamwork. One person might have a good idea, but that idea has to be developed by discussing with others, by taking it forward, by trying to pilot it and trying to make models. And then you get the team to work together. And I can tell you from my experience that most of my successes, the things of which I am proud about and about for which many people compliment me, is those which came only through hard teamwork. And basic teamwork where you encourage everybody, promote everybody's abilities, and respect everybody. So we need to have team, and this team building is important to sort of see the challenges even before they reach you. See things before they hit you. You should be able to see them before they hit you. That is the type of creativity. That's the type of openness. That is the type of ability and intelligence that you require. And then we have so much of leveraging. We can have technologies which we have with us, which we can use. Don't use it for your social media stories and films and pornography and whatever it is. Use it for something which will help others, which will help you to become a better person, which will help you to say that, yeah, I received so much education, I have been more blessed than others, and this is what I give back to society through whatever startup I have or in whatever work I am able to work in. Next one, please. Sustainable leadership competencies. I don't think I need to look at it. I will just read it quickly. Leads by example. The result-driven person. A person who wants to see immediate, short-term, long-term, and maybe future results. So that is important for the results-driven. And you learn, as I said earlier, you need to learn and understand things. And you also be confident. Once you decide, you are confident that this is the right thing to do. Decision making and communication, most important. We need to develop our communication skills, and we need to communicate more effectively. Very often we find that you say one thing and the person who is supposed to do it does exactly the opposite because he or she has not understood what you're saying. So this communication is very important. Whether you speak in Malayalam or English or Hindi or whatever, you need to communicate effectively so that your listener and you also understand what you are telling somebody to do. So this is very important. Visionary thinking, as I said, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can predict what is going to happen when you have AI. What is AI? Is it going to go run amok? We are afraid of that. Is it going to lead you to trouble? So if there is a way to think of what the future can hold. See, the things we are seeing today, even in whether it is in medical, advances in medical field, advances in the engineering field, or in any field you can think of, these are things which people thought about years and years ago, incubated it, developed it, discussed with others, learned about it, researched, and they brought it out. So nothing comes, just like that. It's not like you light a fire and it comes up as a firework. So visionary thinking, looking beyond the present and persevering through challenges. Everything will not be successful at the first point. You have to expect a lot of, back swings. Very important, ethically oriented. We have to have ethics in our businesses. Whether it is in the supply chain, a demand chain, whether it is in your processing, whether it is in your sales, whether it is creating the demand in marketing, you need to be ethical in your approaches. So this ethics means that you maintain integrity. Nobody should say that startup, you have to be careful of them. The product, you have to be careful. It is not it's not genuine, or their approach is not genuine. One should not have to hear such a sorry, description of one's company or oneself. So acting with integrity, ethical approaches, and building trust-based relationships. You all know all that. And then these leaders have to be change agents. These are all things we all heard several times. Seizing the opportunities, because India and Kerala are opening up in many ways to give chances and opportunities for growth, for development, for making careers within our country. Make in India has got a lot of possibilities which we have to discuss, understand, and take forward. And embracing change, as we said earlier, and inclusive. Inclusive is important, not just to say that I'm going to put everybody's interest will be taken care of by me. No, you have to understand what they want first before you want to give it to them. So understanding others' motivations, your staff, your employees, understand what their motivations and expectations are. They need not be the same as yours are. So that expectations have to be appropriate and demonstrate caring. You might think, what is the need of caring in a manufacturing institution? Why should I care about the illness of my employee's son or daughter or wife? Why should I care about some other problem, a social problem? Well, it is important because that affects the functioning, it affects the performance of that particular person and maybe the group he is leading also, he or she is leading. So caring attitude and collaborative application. The next area is what I am more familiar with, and the applications across sectors in Kerala. This is where I'll be taking more time, I hope. Health and well-being, focus on areas. See, we have the National Family Health Survey. NFHS is the National Family Health Survey. It comes out every year or every 2 years. The NFHS 5 is out, and it gives you district-wise details and statistics of people's health, particularly of various parameters, but the most important are maternal mortality, infant mortality, malnutrition, and also domestic violence. We have employment, education, so many things. If you look at this, you will find where your opportunities lie. Where can you bring in digitization to pinpoint where you need to act? So if you have apps which can disaggregate these statistics and show you exactly which block, which panchayat, maybe which ward has children with low growth, malnutrition, and inability to, learn. So these things can come out very fast. Also, you have to in education. It's another area where we need to be very, very careful about, and where we have to put in the best resources, whether it is man, material, or money. So we need to look at quality education. Is our education system the best? Can we improve it further? What are the inputs you need to bring into that? Each of you have gone through an education system in Kerala, most probably most of you. Where do you think it has lagged? Where do you think you have been shortchanged? Where do you think I should have got enough and more of that material? Or where do you think I did not receive it, and if I did, I would have done better? So that is important. So we have to work, a lot of digitization, a lot of technological advances have come within the classroom, and some by the students themselves. We need to make learning simple, enjoyable, and less burdensome. Maths need not be a very bugbear. Mathematics and science and other subjects need not be difficult. It can be made easy using our best friend of the digitization. So technology can help you. There are children, I just read yesterday in the newspaper about a child who has developed a small thing called Skillo or something, where you learn new skills, how to learn, how to pick up subjects and topics which are difficult. Even when the teacher explains, they don't understand, but the child is able to do it in a better way. Make it simple, employ. And there are many young people I know who have used digitization for creating apps. Then we look at university education. I won't say much about it. The Kerala Economic Review last year says that 49% of our graduates are unemployable. So that is a very sad thing, and I don't think it must be much more. So why? Why does that happen? Where do you need to intervene? Where are the initiatives we can put in? So if you look at this, you can find areas where interventions are possible. And I know of many people, of many young people, many startups which have started these sort of apps which make it easy for students to understand. There's one thing called Swayam. I don't know whether you've heard about it. Swayam is an app which is being used all over India for any subject under the sun which is now going on in India, courses, where the Swayam developed by a small group, and they have had the support of IITs and PITS Bilani. And these are the apps which are being used all over the country, and I think it is almost free. And we need encourage research. And now we see the gender thing, that STEM education, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, you find that women are not properly represented. Girls are not represented there. Why are they not represented? There is no encouragement for them in the school, no encouragement in the family, no encouragement in the society. That has to change. So we need to bring more females into the STEM subjects where they can learn, do research, and find employment. Practical skills also, we find that many engineering colleges, many high schools have laboratories which are not used because only some part of the time is used. Why can't high school students and higher secondary children be allowed to use it at some time under proper supervision? This is something where the resources of the country, the resources of a state are used to a larger extent. So these are things where using support of government and also the local government. Local government has got a lot of role to play in education, in health, etc. I think you all know about it. And then we have to have a collaborative responsibility and future skills. I spoke about that. Care economy is very important. The World Economic Forum last year pointed out, 2024, pointed out that the biggest growing economy is the care economy. Now, don't think that care economy is producing home nurses and people who go and work in the house. Care economy calls for professionally trained caregivers, professionally trained nursing staff, men and women, and professionally trained people who will work as personal health aides. They call them personal health AIDS, aides. And these people have to be given a training that is universally and internationally accepted. So it has to be on based, accredited, and certified. So this will be useful for giving employment to a large number of people, both within and outside the country. So unemployment, we say skill development, all those things, you study the implications. The last point is important. The World Economic Forum 2025, this year, January, has come out with a report called Future of Jobs report. Future of Jobs, kindly read it. Future of Jobs. It tells us where jobs are and where jobs are going to go out. Where jobs won't be anymore, where jobs you need not look there anymore, and where jobs are going to be. So that is very important. So when you look at the other areas, technology in industry, change in the corporate culture. Change in the corporate culture is important, not only for the management, but also for the employees. Change in the culture where you look at, as I said earlier, environmental stewardship, protection, and care for the planet. You have also social and economic growth. These are things, responsibility and growth. These are some things which all should accept together across the board. Improve the manufacturing processes to reduce wastage. Emphasize this, that various R's here: rethink, reduce, replace, reuse, recycle, recover. invest in employee training and education, and the digital twin and AI for leadership transformation. Digital twin is a very useful tool for many applications where you can learn how things work and how things should not work and where you need to put your attention. I won't go into detail, there's no time for that. Some examples are given here. The Tirupur industry, textile industry, is one of the most boasted about industries in India, particularly in South India. Lakhs and lakhs of people get employment there. It has become the textile hub of India, even the world. Tirupur garments are being exported. Now, Tirupur had a big problem with their wastewater from their dyeing industry. Dyeing, D-Y-E-I-N-G, dyeing industry. So they did not know what to do with the water. The pollution was so big. What did they do? They put their heads together and they worked out a manner in which they could measure the amount of water, they could measure the amount of contaminants, and they were able to take up the treatment, and the water was reused so well that the entire area is green with a lot of parks and gardens, and they are able to supply water for gardening outside also, which is a huge success story. Also, we have the China Sponge. You can read it in the thing. That is China Sponge Initiative. They are looking at the challenges. They are looking at, when you build a satellite town, how do you make it self-sufficient? How do you make it non-pollutant? How do you make it useful for the community? These are things you have to look at. And the China Sponge industry, it's in a new province. They are in a new area in the province, tackles the challenges on water resources. How do you use water? And automation, more automation, make work less burdensome, and climate change. Abu Dhabi has come up with a very good initiative. They have industrial circular economy. You're going to hear more of that. Here they have already fixed that by 2030, they will be able to have a 50% reduction in industrial processes waste and 100% compliance by 2030. And also in the same period, they will be able to have 100% scrap recovery, no more wastage of scrap. The scrap will be recovered and it will be reused, both for scrap and plastic. So Israel is also a wonderful model of reusing. And the initiatives for waste management is very, very important, and it's on the local bodies. We have the corporation, but unfortunately, the Cochin Corporation or Trivandrum Corporation, they find that it is something beyond their capabilities. Here you need a lot of AI, you need a lot of digitization, a lot of support from the automation. So here is where new strategies can be evolved and supported. So that is something where it's a big topic, and which needs a lot of thinking and a lot of hard work on that. Leverage digitization and AI for this. Sorry. Well, okay. Now we look at other initiatives. I read about Kerala coming up with the Kerala Water Security Plan. I saw it in yesterday's newspaper. It is so important. See, we have a lot of plans. The Water Authority has plans, but here you have something which is going to go breaking the silos a little bit. Where you have a panel, of course, they're all governmental officers, but they're also having discussions all over the state, how to secure our water, keep it safe, because throughout India, 85% of the water goes for agriculture, only 5% is used for drinking and domestic purposes. Kerala, it is slightly better, but still, the water security and availability of water is always a big problem. The National Sports Bill, it's called the National Sports Governance Bill. You have all heard about various cases filed by sports council bodies, and there's so much of problems that the athletes, the people in the sector cannot really concentrate on their game or on their performance. So much of politics. Removing that, the central government has come up with the National Sports Governance Bill. I think it's a very important thing. Now, policy changes, government has to change from a regulator to a catalyst. Here we need a big change. It's a mindset change. And I think Kerala, with this ability to put up a lot of policy changes, you can, sustainable development, if it comes anywhere in India, I think Kerala would be a front runner, because we already have so many initiatives. And we need to, I just, on a few areas, the smart land use policy. In Kerala, we have the land ceiling. It was useful and important at one point of time. More than 65, 70 years have passed, and we still have a great need for having more and more imaginative use of land. And land use has become a big problem. If you need more land, there has to be a proper land use system. And you need to update the land policy. Using digitization, you can decide Which are the areas which will be conserved for paddy? Which are the areas which will be only for monoculture, like rubber or coconut? Which are the areas where you need to have more and more diversification of crops? And people like, having more crops, different crops, which will suit the area for climatic and other reasons. Private participation, you need more land for solar farms, viable culture, agriculture. I was, Sahi, there is a very, very important, we'll tell you that. There's something very important, I saw it. Well, we need to, look at the various initiatives in Kerala and also in India, where they talk about Sahi farming, real farming. Real farming means that you look at whatever is available there. Try to make do with what you have. Don't go for imported plants on a large scale. Look at plants which will grow well within your own area, local specific planting and other systems there. And then we have to governance and accountability, very important. We have to remove a lot of bureaucratic red tape is there. Movement, as somebody was saying here, how to get the government officials to listen to you is very important. But that you can do through civil society involvement. And civil society can do social audit. They are doing it many places. We can think about that. Digital transformation, and remember that by 2030, not too far away, 60% of businesses will be transformed through broadening digital access. Just imagine, 60% of our businesses will change. In demand, what are the sectors in demand? AI and information processing, 86% increase. Robotics and automation, you have 58% increase. Energy generation, storage distribution, 41%. Which are the fastest growing skills? AI and big data, cybersecurity, technological literacy. Emerging priorities, cost of living is going to go up. Remember that. Cost of living is already going up. It will go up even further. What are the creative measures we need to take so that the ordinary man can live a dignified life? How do you make his life easy? How do you make food, education, medical care accessible and affordable? These are things we have to think about. Otherwise, how will you have your social responsibility? We need to focus on not just that, on DEI important, diversity, equity, inclusion. It is no longer fashionable in some countries, but we need to have that diversity. Kerala is one of the few states which has a policy for transgenders. We have a council of welfare for them. So many migrant labor, we have welfare boards for them. We support so many initiatives. Why? Because the need comes from society. I have a large number. I think my time is up, I hope. Is it so? So we need to look at new areas, and Kerala has already moved forward. So many things are already happening. We have our women's groups. Kudumbashree, one of the most successful movements in the world, because our people have been taken, our Kudumbashree women have gone all over the world to talk about their experiences and how the Kudumbashree women's self-help groups have brought change in their families, in their homes and in society. So we have many firsts in Kerala. We have to build upon it, take it further, and we have to make the powers that be to listen to you. And that you can do by bringing the people together, by bringing the, all those who matter together to work together. Thank you very much. I better close here. Thank you.